you can say whatever comes to your mind.
Hi, Sergio. It's really nice to meet you. I'm glad you came today.
Who are you?
My name is Connie Miller, and I'm a TEP from America for Psychodrama, Sociometry, and Group Psychotherapy.
TEP.
A trainer, educator, practitioner.
Good, excellent. Okay, let's start with that. Well, where are we? Where are we?
We are in São Paulo, Brazil.
But what are you doing here?
I am from the International Institute of Souldrama, and I teach Souldrama worldwide. It's an outgrowth of Psychodrama that puts structure into the process of Psychodrama.
So, and you came here for what purpose?
I came here because I was invited to present a workshop.
Okay. Connie, Zerka, for instance,
Yes.
her name was Celine. It was not Zerka
Yeah, so
at all. Is your name Connie, or you
it's
have?
Constance.
Your
But
name.
Zerka and I almost shared the same birthday. Not year, but date.
The same birthday.
Yeah.
Which is?
She was born June 13th.
Yes.
I was born the 14th.
Of course, different dates.
Different dates.
Okay.
A lovely
So,
woman.
is it your first time here in Brazil?
No, it's my second time. I actually presented for the American Group Psychotherapy Association some years ago.
Okay. Fine. So, and how are you feeling right now?
Very good, very comfortable, and I feel very welcome and very safe.
Okay. Connie, you were mentioning a few minutes ago something about being participating as a protagonist with Zerka. Do you remember?
I do.
What was it?
I do. It was my first psychodrama I ever did, and I was scared to death. And I was working with somebody from Iceland who didn't speak English. It was really a very hard drama, and I could hear Zerka yelling at me when I was on the stage. And I said, you know what, I think we need God in this drama. She said, I'll be God. And so she came into the drama as God, and it was just worked out beautifully.
Do you remember when was it? In the 90s?
No, it had to be it was her last time at Fountain Place. And I know she was sad to have that last training at Fountain Place.
Okay.
I don't remember the date, really.
Well, it doesn't matter. But you said it was your first psychodrama?
Where I actually ran it. I had been training for 6 years, but I never actually directed a psychodrama.
Okay. When was your first opportunity with psychodrama? It was with whom? When?
My trainer was Dan Tomasulo from America, from USA, my primary trainer. And when I went on to get supervision and get my training educator practitioner certification, then I had Jackie Soroka.
Okay. Excellent. So you are a psychodramatist?
Yes, I am.
And
It's one of the roles I play.
what's the Souldrama idea? How did it come, this idea of Souldrama?
Well, for years I was practicing psychodrama, and I realized that my clients really weren't getting better. And I felt like I needed something else, more spirituality, to put more spirituality into the process of psychodrama. Because many of my clients were stuck, and I could see where they were stuck. And it was mostly about forgiving their parents or moving on and reframing the gifts from their parents and looking at their relationship with a higher power, which was usually the inner dialogue that went on with their parents. It wasn't a loving dialogue with a higher power. So when I could reframe these two aspects that were keeping my clients stuck, I could see what was keeping them stuck to move on to their higher purpose. The higher purpose not being the relationship in their life.
And when was it then, the idea of Souldrama? When did it come to reality?
1997.
1997.
Yes.
Since then, you have been training, doing Souldrama with people.
Around the world.
Meaning?
Meaning in Indonesia, India, Holland, Greece, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, just around the world. And there's a lot of interest because people want to discover their higher purpose now. And they want to know what it is to be and not to do.
Look, when I looked at the Souldrama word, there was an R on it. It means, what does this mean?
It means in America it's a registered trademark.
It
But
means?
it's also a registered trademark that somebody needs permission to use this. It's also registered as a trademark internationally in many countries that will register it. Some don't.
Okay.
All right,
So
that's
you
a
have
protection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But what is the difference between the psychodrama that normally people know and Souldrama? What do you think would be the main differences from one to another?
Psychodrama is linear, and Souldrama is circular and has structure. There's 7 doorways that people need to go through for transformation.
7 doors.
7 doorways, yeah.
Okay. If I want, for instance, if I want to come, I would have to start from the first door, which is
Faith.
faith.
And you would have to have enough faith in me to even come, right? And enough faith in the group members, you know, to come. So that's the first doorway, because nothing happens in our lives without faith and trust.
Okay.
And Souldrama integrates our rational, emotional, and spiritual intelligence. And that's what we want more of today, is our spiritual intelligence. And that's who we are, not what we do.
Okay. So let's assume that I've been successful with the first door. Then I come to the second, which is?
Well, the first door is faith. From there, you developed enough trust.
Yes.
Enough trust in yourself and in the group to move on. So after that, you're going to go into the doorway of truth and clarity, where you go.
Truth and clarity.
Right.
It's the second door.
Second door. And you're going to embrace your dark side, your shadow side, and reframe the gifts that you got from your parents as spiritual gifts. The things that you didn't get from your parents will be reframed to look at as spiritual gifts to help you get onto your higher purpose.
Good. Okay, so let's assume also that I'm successful with this second door. So, and then I will have the third one.
Do you want to move in there and see?
For instance, well, let's see. Let's see. Why don't we go there?
Now this is written in Portuguese, thanks to Alberto, because
Alberto is this gentleman.
This is Alberto, who was nice enough to invite me and to sponsor.
He's the one who invited you to come. Okay, good. I will be able to come back to him after that. But we were talking about the second door. I assumed that I was successful with that door, the second one, so I reached the third one.
All right, so in the first and second, you've moved through your rational intelligence. And down here, and you learn that the more roles you play in life, you know, you get stuck in these old roles. and we don't move forward. We stay in the rational intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
When we move through the rational, well, then we're going to move into the emotional intelligence.
Aha. Okay.
And down here we learn that we have to do something in order to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do to be loved.
Okay, but let's assume that I managed to go to the third door.
You stepped into your emotional intelligence.
Okay.
And all these doors are sequential. One is based upon the other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we can't skip doorways.
Okay.
All right? So when we started out as little children, we would have started out on the last doorway in our spiritual intelligence, where all our intelligences were together. And we learned that we just could be to be loved as a child. Then sometimes trauma hits when we're young and we separate. There's our soul on the end and there's our ego.
Uh-huh.
Right? And the purpose of Souldrama is to align the ego with the soul. We can't throw the ego off. We need the ego. And that's a lot of our rational intelligence, our personality, and the roles we play in order to stay safe and loved.
Okay.
So we move into our emotional intelligence, and that's where you have forgiveness and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be keeping you stuck?
Perdão e compaixão. Forgiveness and compassion. Okay. Yes?
And then you move into unconditional love.
Aha. Yes, the fourth.
And there is
Amor
no...
próprio incondicional. Amor, which is the fourth door.
And there is no unconditional love unless you've done the forgiveness. So each doorway is based upon the other. There is no such thing as unconditional love if you haven't done forgiveness.
Okay, so let's assume that everything goes so well that I managed already to get into the fourth door, the unconditional love is fine. So now I'm prepared to go to reach the fifth door.
And you have now the gifts of faith, trust, forgiveness, and love, unconditional love. So you have 4 things that you've developed.
Okay.
So that you can move into the fifth door, which is humility.
The fifth.
The fifth, which is humility, and the gift from being humble is empowerment. Now, with each one of these, your ego gets closer to your divine self. What we want to do is align the ego back with the soul so that we can become co-creators with the divine.
Uh-huh. Well, then I keep assuming that I'm very successful on that, so I'm humble, I'm already empowered, and I'm ready to go into the sixth door.
Which is gratitude. And gratitude is what opens the heart.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot about positive psychology today and how positive psychology helps us. And gratitude is one of the most important things in positive psychology. So with each doorway the ego really goes through, they come back and meet their divine self over here. So now they develop their rational, emotional, and spiritual intelligence, and they come back and meet their own soul. And so together, they form what I call our universal intelligence, and together they become co-creators with the divine so that they can move forward onto their life purpose and move past the resistance in their lives. And there's a saying that the closer we get to the light, the darker the shadow. So as we move through these doorways, even in a group process, there's going to be a lot of resistance to get closer to that divine self. because the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. But the group and the power of the group will move the whole group through and get to their spiritual intelligence or universal intelligence. And then they can see their higher purpose. And from that, there's so much joy that, like me, when I started this process, I want to spread it. I don't want to hold on to it. It's something to spread because I've seen how it works.
Well, and from what you could do since 1997 up to now, is this something that, well, we are talking about more than 20 years already, right?
It's scary when I think of it.
More than 20 years. So is there anything that, as you were doing and training people and working with people, you realized that could be improved from the beginning of your ideas and of your scheme? Is it different, or you just realized that what you had from the beginning was appropriate and no need for changes?
The structure still works, but when I train people, I say, as long as you're going to use the structure, you can use any of the tools you want. Psychodrama and sociometry are the main tools we use within each of the doorways. So this shows the structure. But anybody can use their own creativity. That's what I want to be open to, that people can use their own creativity to use this structure in their lives. And I have a book that's been published in Portuguese, English, Indonesian, and Romanian. And it's called Starve the Ego, Feed the Soul. Develop your spiritual intelligence. So what we want is we want to have our creativity back. We don't want to become stuck in our old roles in life and learn that we have to do to be loved. And down at this end of the chart, there's like no internet. And when we develop our spiritual intelligence, we have internet all over. So we get the messages all over from each other. So the structure doesn't need to be improved, but people can put whatever they want in the doorways as long as we use the structure. And in America now, there was a huge article I wrote, and Souldrama is now, and I don't know how much of the 12 steps you have here in Brazil for addictions, for alcohol and drugs. You've heard of the 12-step program? But it's become a model, a holistic model for the 12 steps, where the first steps are our rational intelligence, and step 5 through 7 is our emotional intelligence, and step 9 through 11 is our spiritual intelligence, and step 12 is the last step.
Now, Connie, when we started doing that in this video, I was assuming that I was reaching the following door, and then. Well, not always being optimistic like that works. Sometimes, I don't know, if the difficulties that we have prevent us from moving forward. So from your experience, for more than 20 years doing that, what are the difficulties that you faced, barriers that you had in your trainings, in your workshops? I was telling Alberto that normally we tend to see positive things and to think positively, and that's fine. But sometimes it doesn't work. So how do you, when you look back from your experience, what you think that were the main difficulties, barriers, things that now you should be avoiding or doing differently? What are your views about that?
I think the primary resistance I find is when a participant cannot change their internalized image of a higher power, where they insist on keeping that higher image of their higher power, their parent. So, for instance, if they had a critical parent, they're going to have a critical higher power. And that has to be brought out. And the people who refuse to change usually are the ones that stay stuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, in a nutshell, what I found.
Did you find that frequently?
Not until lately. Not until lately. We just did a workshop in Greece, and I found that there were people that refused to believe in a higher power.
Okay.
But after the workshop was done, somehow they started to believe.
So.
And actually the first step in the 12 steps is, in addictions, is to turn your life and will over to a God as you understand him or her. So how can you turn your life and will over to a critical, judgmental, and punishing higher power? If we want to turn our life and will over, it has to be a loving higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we choose to call that. As long as it's more loving than we are.
Yeah. Well, Connie, of course, this is not supposed to be a video talking or showing in depth all this. It's
right.
Just a sort of snack, an aperitif to that. Is there something that you would like to say or to show that we didn't have the opportunity to do during this short encounter that we had?
No, I think it's pretty complete.
And as you are looking at Alberto, eu vou passar para o Alberto então. Alberto, de onde é que aparece essa ideia de trazer a Connie?
Em 2016 eu tive a oportunidade de participar do workshop dela em Portugal, Carcavelos, organizado pela Manuela Maciel. E lá tive o contato, já conhecia a Connie do seu livro, conhecia já o trabalho dela, então fui ter a oportunidade de vivenciar o workshop dela, que lá foram de 4 dias, e achei maravilhoso. Uma síntese da jornada, dessa peregrinação que fazemos, né? Saímos da máquina e até ir para o transcendente. Então eu vi uma grande oportunidade de trazer para o Brasil esse trabalho, que para mim é fantástico e é muito agregador para nós psicodramatistas ou terapeutas que estamos aí ajudando as pessoas no desenvolvimento humano. Então eu achei um trabalho fantástico e espero que as pessoas aproveitem bem esse workshop aqui em São Paulo.
Quando é que começa?
Começa agora dia 29, amanhã, e dia 29, 30 e dia 1º. Então, sexta, sábado e domingo, vamos vivenciar e ter a oportunidade de, com a Connie, bebermos um pouco desse conhecimento e fazermos essa jornada das 7 portas, né?
Certo.
Da transformação.
Okay, bom,
I
hoje...
have something to say.
Yes.
If we stay in the first doorway and we don't move forward, if we stay in the first doorway of trust, faith, and trust, and we don't move forward, down here there's a lot of competition. When we get to align the ego with the soul, more up here we have co-creation. And down here it's what can I get? When we can move up here, it's what can I give?
Okay. Do you think that the 7 doors are enough, or you are somehow thinking or that another door will be required probably from
There
your...
might be, somebody might put in another door, but I'm a child who had no structure at all in my life, so I probably developed this, so there was some structure to psychodrama. So there could be, I don't know what will happen. There's probably many doors, really, if we look at it that way.
Okay. Okay. So, anything else, Connie?
No, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, very good.
Thank you. I do better if I have action and I can show than just standing there talking.